Welcome everyone to the Dips for Grand Theft Auto 5. For the next half hour or so, the four of us are going to be talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. Joining us for the first time, I think, ever in like a GT video, Ricky Klopfenstein.
I am in the 200th episode of Invisible Walls, filling out job employment paperwork.
Wait, what?
So this is the second time I've been in a GT show.
What is it? Content management was your title?
Media coordinator.
Media coordinator. So basically, Ricky makes sure the videos get connected on our website.
Yeah, make sure they look good.
Yeah, and look good.
Yeah.
That's who he is, but he also likes GTA 5, which is why he's here. Brandon Jones, of course, we all know, and then Michael Huber.
Hello.
First thing I want to talk about this game, about GTA 5, the biggest story I feel like with it right now is Game of the Year 2013.
Well, you didn't play it till now. I mean, you took
I did
your
not
sweet
play
time
it until 2014. Yeah.
So you were kind of the impetus for the show. You wandered in my office like, hey, let's talk about GTA 5. What's
I
going
can't
on?
believe
Nobody's
I
talking
can't
about
believe we
it.
didn't do a
I
depth
just finished
for this
this excellent game.
Yeah, the game's huge.
There's no depths.
Yeah, and there was no depths for it yet.
But it's people that were taking their time with it. I know a lot of people. I know one guy started playing and then he switched over to Assassin's Creed 4 and was like, whoa, I'm gonna play this, and so he'll get back to it eventually. But a lot of people are taking their sweet time with GTA 5.
I guess it's kind of in the nature of the game and its size that you can take your sweet time with this game.
Yeah.
Like I beat it, but I didn't finish it. There's still tons of stuff that I could do with all the characters. So, but
I want to talk about GTA 5 being Brandon, your obvious choice for Game of the Year.
right.
Like you think this was Game of the Year and that it was robbed, even.
Well, I try not to say the word robbed because just saying it out loud, makes me upset.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're actually opening up this wound, Kyle. Because,
This is what this show is.
because
for.
I really had
He
to
was over it.
emotionally, kind of let it go. I've actually been, I always kind of stepped back from Game of the Year awards. We've been doing them ever since, for years and years now at GT. And I'll step in for trailer. Trailer's the big thing. Like I always pay attention to trailers and I always try to make sure I'm there for that.
Yeah.
And then by the time they pick Game of the Year, it's always like, oh, they picked, okay. So I'm like, I really want to try to play as many of these games as I can. And I played Last of Us first, and I played it 3 times in a row. I loved that game so much. And then I played GTA and was like, oh, well, okay. There's the Game of the Year. There's no question. And so I was really surprised actually when we finally got in there, and I got outvoted.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't just those 2 games. I mean, there were lots of Zelda fans. There were lots of.
No,
I think it was probably just those 3.
No, it was
games,
those 3 actually.
Yeah. Like, did Nino Cooney get a nod? I don't know.
Not really, no.
But it's tough. It's. I think it really gets down to what you really like or not. Because if you look at stuff on paper, GTA steamrolls every other game that came out this year. Period. Next to AC4 or Saints Row, or like the only games I can think of that like you can just keep, or an MMO, or like Final Fantasy 14 or Realm Reborn. As far as like. This is just an insane amount of content. There's no way, like a Skyrim level of like, there's no way, I'd have to like quit my job and, get divorced like to actually like absorb all this stuff. But at the same time, you have something that's as emotional. I actually went back to show a friend of mine the beginning of Last of Us because he hadn't seen it and like got choked up. I was like, man, this is a really good game. But I mean, just on paper, if no emotions attached to it whatsoever, I think it is clearly the biggest, the best value that you can get for $60 this year.
What's crazy too is how big it is with no loss to quality. Everyone
Right,
else has quality over
like an
quantity.
MMO, like you're just talking to a person who's eventually just text most of the time, right? There's nothing that's just given. You're right. It is all of it is just so intricate. Like one thing that blew my mind, one moment that destroyed my mind was a postcard stand. And like how detailed that postcard stand was, because that's never in any cutscene. That's not an important thing. But I was just wandering around, and like the camera kind of swung over this way, and like there's just like individually like individual art on each little postcard.
Right.
Why? Why is there that in this game?
Because they have an intense passion for making these games. Like they absolutely love doing every little detail, and the fact that they're writing these whole sequences of a talk radio. Who listens to talk radio in a GTA game? But like there's 2 whole channels full of stuff that when I finally got to playing GTA Online, I was like, I'm gonna put this on in my apartment while I'm like waiting to queue up for missions and stuff, and like it's hilarious, like
it's well written,
and it all ties into everything else. So like you'll see a billboard for like the woman who's running for mayor, and like she's interviewed on the station, and so like it all ties together. These are personalities that have been in previous GTA games, so it's like here I'm back with my new show, and it's now in Los Santos or whatever. And
I never caught that. That's cool.
To add to that level of detail, they're like I think the developers working on it love making these little details because that's what they work on for like 3 years. The postcard and all the textures are really cool. The most rarest thing I've seen is at the top of the Mount Chiliad in the platform. There is a spider web that appears for like 2 in-game hours from like midnight to 2 a.m. And it's not a texture; it's like an actual object that you can like shoot and stuff. And after 2 a.m., it just goes away. Like.
Ricky, what were you doing up there?
No, it was on Reddit, and
okay.
someone's like, I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
The amount of time it took to program that spider web made out of like essentially the ropes, right?
Right.
Must have taken a couple hours for some developer to do.
Yeah.
So if you guys are bored, Mount Chiliad at 2 a.m. underneath the
Spider
platform.
web.
Yeah.
But I find that when people talk about Last of Us, it's always like, oh, you know, that big moment, right? Oh, yeah, that big moment was huge. And whenever people talk about GTA 5, it's like, I went to this tiny thing in this tiny corner of the game and found this weird thing that was special only to me, or they describe some event that happened on some mission or an online that no one had.
Yeah.
It's like we all kind of shared the same moments in Last of Us, where it's like, I kept coming to work being like, oh my God, this thing happened. Kind of like Assassin's Creed, it's the same way, where it's like, I'd have dynamic things happen, and I'm like, that was so amazing. So it's like, what's better? Is it an amazing scripted sequence that was written that way and everyone who plays it's going to get the exact same thing? Or, you know, this playground where you get to open up all this
Do
stuff?
you like sports or the theater? Basically?
But I think The Last of Us.
Did you see that crazy touchdown versus
You're right,
like, I love the end of The Lion King?
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge sports fan, but I choose GTA 5, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I should give basketball a try.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just saying for Last of Us, though, it's also about like the moment-to-moment tension, you know, just in between all the scripted events. I was just nervous the entire time. Not even nervous, but just like there was never a second of Last of Us when I was bored. Whereas GTA, like, you know, you finish a mission, it's like, all right, take a nice little break, you know, either go kill some people or go wander around. So,
atmosphere.
Yeah.
What do you think adding 3 playable characters to this game added to the game itself? Yeah, please, Brandon Jones.
One thing that I really appreciated is there's a lot of, like you're saying, downtime, you know, where it's like, it's either, I got the quest flag, or, you know, a lot of times it's like, start the mission here, it's like, now drive over there, and you're like, okay, and so it's like, well, I gotta take 3 minutes, and even if it's just 3 minutes, like, oh, I'm kind of bored getting there. Or like, you just finish a mission and it drops you out. And unlike Last of Us, where it's like, now you go here, you don't really know what to do, and so there's that, you know, it kind of invites you to like, oh, put the controller down and play something else, or like, I really have to think of something I want to do, or find another name on the map. Whereas having that additional character was like, oh, I'll switch to Franklin. Oh, I'll switch to Trevor. Or like, and then you switch to them, and a lot of times their next mission would start automatically, or it would say right in the middle of a mission, it would switch somebody over. So I found the pace of that, just like do a mission, goof around, do a mission, goof around, was a lot more streamlined and a lot quicker.
So you think the 3 playable characters was motivated more by the fun of game design more than like, oh, we want to tell a story from 3 different angles? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's more, the 3 characters is there for the game, first and foremost, correct? Yeah.
I think it was just one of those things when someone mentioned it at a meeting, they were like, we gotta do that. We have to see if we can actually pull that off.
I think it's a clever way to hide warps in a game, because something like Skyrim, you can fast travel anywhere, and it kind of takes you out of that world. Like, you know, I just spent 2 hours going through this dungeon. Now I'm gonna fly through the sky to Windhelm and be there in an instant. It covers warps. And you're like, no, I'm just switching to another person.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean,
then-
even the transition really speaks to that even. Yeah.
What do you guys think too? Like, GTA 4, you had Nico, and you tried to have a serious story. I feel like a lot less people went around old GTA style and like went on rampages as Nico because it didn't really fit his character. Do you think when they went into this, they were kind of thinking like, we need to have a guy like Trevor who is just insane, where players can feel comfortable going
That's
out
funny.
and just
That's a funny
causing
thought, yeah.
chaos?
It makes me wonder if they had these 3 characters, it's kind of like, who do we want to be our protagonist in the game? And they were like, well, let's do all of them, you know? Because like, I think they all seem like your typical GTA characters. Like, and I think out of all of them, actually, I think Michael's the most interesting, because you start in the biggest mansion, in the coolest house you'll ever find anywhere in the entire game. You know, it's like next to like the Playboy Mansion, like, and it's just fun.
Which is
like,
in the game.
I thought that exactly.
Is it honestly? They got a little Playboy mansion in there?
Yeah, naked chicks and everything. Well, topless chicks. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Where
it's
is
not
it?
It's not called the Playboy Mansion.
I'll tell you
but
later.
It's up in the hills. But I just thought that was a really interesting comment. That,
Does it have a zoo? I'm sorry to distract you one more time. Does it have a zoo?
Are there monkeys?
Yeah. The Playboy Mansion in the
No,
game.
it has the grotto.
So it's like a hot tub with like under a cave?
Yeah.
That is so cool. All right,
If you
sorry,
go there at
Brandon.
night, they're partying. Have you played this game?
Well, now I'm thinking about topless
Yeah,
women in
we beat
grottos.
this game.
I forgot what I was going to
What is
mention.
Game of the year.
Yeah. Well, I just think, to me, that really felt like a comment on their previous games. That, like, in Vice City, it's a huge deal when you finally get the mansion, you know, like
Right.
Scarface's mansion, like right in the middle of the map. And like, right, you start out this game, and he's like, I'm retired, you know. And I thought that was a really interesting comment. And then you have Franklin, who's completely the opposite of that. And then, like you were saying, Trevor, which is just like, let's make somebody that people just don't care. And I found a lot of people, when they were reviewing it or commenting about it on Twitter, said like, something happens in my brain when I switch to Trevor. I don't know. I just don't care.
I also think the writers really loved having 3 perspectives to go off of, because this is the GTA 5, the 5th official game, and so the number of stories and people they can come up with, I'm sure they felt kind of limited. Like, oh great, we have to do another guy who's doing another Scarface thing. Whereas this time it's like, okay, now we have 3 different angles, we can play that off of each other. At least as writers, I think they were interested in doing that.
Yeah, I can't even imagine playing GTA now without 3 characters.
So like you think like even I bet so I think going forward I bet like the DLC things will be only one character. You know
My bet is that it'll be them. Is that it'll be the 3 of them again, and they'll.
3 amigos.
You had an
Continue this
amazing idea.
What is
for,
your idea? What is your
man.
idea?
Do it.
Prison.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers.
Because you don't go to the
Yeah.
prison. It's one of the prison.
The prison is there.
You fly
in
over the
game.
prison.
was
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
how cool would it be if they got arrested or something, or 2 of them got arrested, or even one of them, and then that player had like a prison simulator type game where when you were playing as him, he was like working the guards and the inmates and the systems, and then you had to play as someone else outside of the game planning the jailbreak.
They
Dude,
kind of
that's
do that.
genius.
I
That's
did
genius.
like when there's one point when Michael and Trevor can't go back into town, and there was just like constantly hounded, but like Franklin can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like I thought that was interesting.
That was really cool actually. I like that.
They're treated differently.
So actually, like character-wise, I think Michael was the least interesting, and I think
can
it's
see that.
I think it's because his motivation almost never made sense. He's like
It
like-
was weird. He was split between like being a bad boy and being a family guy.
Yeah.
And he was constantly.
and then
going
he's
back
like,
and
"Oh,
forth.
I love making movies."
Right.
It's like, where did this come from? Like, who are you? You wanted to make movies this whole time and didn't feel like the courage to until I started playing as you?
Did you do the
What do you mean
psychology sessions with him?
No.
When he goes to his
What's
therapist.
the point of those? I saw it on the map and I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. What do those do?
It's kind of fun to like get the story played back to you. You
Yeah,
know, where, like
insight.
it's like when you hear your exploits on the radio, and they'll be like, "Oh, some bank robbery just happened."
And
You're
just
like,
a little
"Oh, I
more
did that."
insight to like his motivations.
It's fun to-
They'll have interactive things where if you kill somebody on the way to the therapy session, he'll say in therapy, "I may have killed someone on the way over here. I don't know, doc." And he won't. If you don't kill someone, he won't say that.
That's really funny. Wait, so all of you decided to go to the therapist?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was reviewing the game, so I had to.
No, you didn't.
I
You
did a
didn't
little
have
bit
to
of
like. There's no way to do everything in the review for the game. You know
at
what I
least
mean?
one. I tried everything at least once.
So,
If
like,
there
you
was
went
was
golfing,
Tennis, I played tennis. Yeah, if there was
golf.
golf, I tried golf.
Wow.
But
So actually, I do have a question then, out of curiosity. What happens when you get a stripper to like you for the full meter?
you
Like
take
there's
them
a-
home.
You take her home?
Well, and they might bring in another stripper, so you got 2 strippers. And then if you max them out, then you take them home. And it does the same thing in GTA 4, where it's like, you know, cut to apartment, and you hear
Right.
them getting it on inside.
And then,
then,
but
like,
it
walk
does the
back out.
time pass.
Oh,
sequence.
and they become a contact in your phone, and you can take them out on more dates. And it's the same character model,
That's so funny.
but you know.
Just with
less.
different faces and skin color, I guess. Oh no! So you mean
No,
it's
like
actually
the same
it
character
is
model
the
with
one
same
stripper
model.
who's your
And
friend?
that's
Yeah.
okay. I don't think I talked about the strip club once on Invisible Walls. Not to get into it, but like just
Game
that
of the
just
year.
that building alone is pretty insane if you actually just stop and notice what's going on. That like all the strippers have names. They're all personalities. So if you go back in there, when a lady like gets up on stage and it's like, now Crystal, give it up for Crystal, and she walks out like, that's Crystal. And if she walks back out and you go to get a lap dance, it'll say, do you want a lap dance from Crystal? If you go back into the club 20 hours later, there she is, Crystal, same hair, same
So funny.
skin and everything. And like in real time, they'll be like walking around and then they're like, oh, my dance is coming up. So they'll walk around to the back and then go in and then it's like, here comes Crystal. And she'll walk out on stage and it's like,
And
again,
you can
all
even
these
walk out on
details
the
and
stage
systems.
yourself.
yeah, well,
like
yeah,
that.
Trevor lives there eventually. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when I noticed it. I was like changing in his little closet area, and this woman walked by me, and I'm like, I wonder if they're on a schedule. I wonder if they actually. That
And so
works.
this actually kind of speaks to what it took for me to finally like learn to love GTA 5. I started it. This is my first GTA game I've played all the way through, by the way.
Nice.
Started it in a very serious space. I tried to never cause an accident. I tried to never run into anyone.
You're like, I won't play by their
That didn't last
rules.
long.
Yeah. And so I played it that seriously, taking the whole world seriously, up until this point where, what was the guy's name? His cop buddy who like he spoke to. The guy who kind of hunches over and is just like, "I'm sorry, Michael. This is the way we got to do this."
Oh, the FIB
right.
guy.
The FIB guy.
Yeah.
Yep. He knocks you out, puts you in a body bag, and you wake up in this body bag in the bottom of the police station, and then shoot your way out.
Right.
From that point forward, I was like, "This is Wacky World."
Yeah.
And once I accepted like GTA 5 is Wacky World, I started to like enjoy it and
Right.
like consume it better. You know.
That's the thing that makes GTA work and all the violence work is it's a satire. If it
Right.
was actually LA, people would freak out. But since it's a satire, it's like, oh, this is just a joke.
Well, four was really serious, and Lost and Damned was really. I like finished Lost and Damned, was like, okay, Rockstar, whatever. And then like Gay Tony was clearly then being like, okay, we're done. And then, like maybe it worked or didn't work, but we just feel like doing something different. And 5 felt much more like Gay Tony, which I think people all dig. I think they'll just do that moving forward. But to comment on what you're saying about Michael, I think the game intentionally did not want you to like Michael. If you really add up all the times you go back to him, like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna switch to Michael. Whenever he's always yelling at somebody. He's always like, you know who I am? I was having lunch with this guy in this restaurant, or he's yelling at the movie studio, parking lot guy, or like getting in a fight, or just like being a dick.
What's confusing to me about it is how unlikable his family is.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard to care about them. Like his son, when you're riding in the limo and his son is in the roof, just saying the douchiest things possible. I couldn't understand that moment because it's like, I don't want this. I don't want any of this to happen.
Right.
Like I want that kid to die. Or I wanted him to leave me. You know what I mean?
You
And
just
it
let
was-
the boat blow up.
it was so bizarre. So like, do you think it's the intent that you're supposed to dislike his family?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to take that to a level where it's like, oh no, you're supposed to hate this, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, hey, then I don't want to do it. That's a fine line with characters.
I definitely
pick
feel
somebody
like-
you love to hate.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they wanted you to like Franklin the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the good guy.
The
of
most
the
like
group.
sympathetic character in the game.
Can we
easily,
can we
yeah.
touch on ending spoilers?
We're gonna do that last.
Okay.
So we'll do that last,
Alright.
and like anyone who hasn't beaten the game yet can tune out.
All right.
But we'll definitely get there.
It's topical. So.
We should talk about Grand Theft Auto Online though.
Oh, did it have an online mode? Because Last of Us had an online mode. And whenever people mention Last of Us for Game of the Year, they go on and on about that online mode, right? They talk about it all the time. I can't, man.
I think
I
half of the
have
GTA
to
users.
forcibly shut people up in this office that just go on and on about that awesome Last of Us online mode. It's incredible. You know? I wish GTA Online had done something more like the Last of Us online mode.
So you
Crazy.
clearly
Okay,
like it.
Can we just point out
Huh.
who's not here? Okay, you came to me and you said you wanted to do a depths on GTA.
Yeah, yeah,
5.
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like, okay, well, we got to get Huber in there because
I've
Huber
been
and I
waiting
talked
for
a lot about
this.
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
But it's great that you were here.
Yeah.
Mike Damiani's not here.
No.
Daniel Bloodworth isn't here. Ryan Stevens isn't here.
No.
Justin Spear isn't here.
Uh-uh.
None of those guys are here. Why? None of them played GTA 5. Because the game sucks, apparently, I guess. It's like, that's what I was up against, talking
too
about the
big.
Game of the Year. It was
Yeah.
just like, nobody played
Yeah.
it. So, of course, he didn't like it. He didn't play it.
Yeah.
I know Ben got really far, but just didn't finish it. He's like
We got
near-
Ben at least. We got Ben.
He's at like the very end. He likes it.
Ricky, you played a lot of GTA Online, correct?
I did.
Uh,
I think just occasionally I get fixated on something, and for like November, that was my fixation.
so was your goal within the game so I don't really understand GTA Online. Is your goal honestly to like level up, or is it to goof around?
It's both, and that's why GTA Online is such a struggle sometimes, is because the way they built it is you can't do anything until you level up, like cars, money, guns. You can't do that. But at the same time, GTA has traditionally been, let's just fuck off with trucks or something like that. And half of GTA Online wants to do the level up, MMO thing. The other half just wants to fly planes into other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just a constant battle between those two parties, and no one ever really wins. So you kind of have to do your own thing and just know that it's going to be okay. I don't know
Brandon,
if that answered your question at all.
it does. The way you just described it sounds like no fun to me. It sounds like anxiety. Why did you play it for the entire month of November?
Because it was GTA Online, and it was the first online they had where it was, like they said, a sustained online universe, and that was really cool. But once you get to a certain point where you can buy, the helicopter or that car, there's really not a lot else you can do. And so I guess I'll go parachute. It becomes like a retirement simulator is what it does. So, and I played it before they nuked everything, or they nerfed it. And so jobs that were paying out 25 are now paying out 10. So it takes new players twice as long to get to the the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's fun, but
Grind.
it doesn't have the legs they want it to.
That's what's crazy to me is the scale of that project. Like seems, it seems unnecessary. GTA Online, I feel like didn't need to be made for them to sell how many copies of the game they sold.
Right.
Why do you think my suspicion is that it's an investment, that GTA Online is going to someday be its own thing. Do you think that could be? Do you think it's sustainable in its own way?
I think it'll.
I think they want it to be sustainable. Right now, it's not. I think they want to sell GTA 6, but right now it's a little. You play it for like 3 months, you're like, I get it, and then I haven't played it since I left for Thanksgiving. So.
What would it take for you to get back in?
They would have to change the system. They would have to go from what they have now to something like Call of Duty or Battlefield, where as you level up, you get stuff for free, and it doesn't help you play better, it just helps you play differently.
Yeah.
So instead of getting the fastest car, you get a car that's good at jumps, or you get a car that's kind of fast, or you get a car that's excellent at turning, or an amphibious car.
Are there heists on GTA Online?
Not yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the whole experience just kind of felt hollow to me when I
think they
tried
added,
to dive in.
I don't think they've added heist because people are still hacking the game.
Yeah.
There's still reports of people getting $1 million bounties. They're like, so I'll gift you $800,000. You're like, okay, I guess I just beat GTA Online.
I just
I could
remember
buy
getting
anything.
so excited for GTA Online with my friends before the game was out. I remember that trailer came out for Online. Like, my friends and I were so pumped to play. We're like, man, I'm gonna get the door. Like, you guys are gonna go in and rob it. We're gonna get in the car and zoom away. We were so pumped on it. Game comes out. Everyone wants to beat the single player first, which is like
that's
understandable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna
they
touch
It
it.
wasn't out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so.
they delayed
Oh
Online.
yeah, it wasn't even out. And then by the time everyone beat it, that's it. Like, my friends never even touched it once. I kind of went in, and there were all those launch problems that everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna wait, and then by then, too much time had passed. There's still no heists.
Right.
So GameTrailers.com did give GTA Online best online game, best
Yes.
multiplayer game.
Yes.
And I think the rationale was its moments, like its online moments where it's like, that was a crazy thing that that would never see that happen in any other game. Brandon, I'm curious what your favorite GTA Online moment is.
The first time I saw someone outside of an apartment, where I was in an apartment and saw John flying a helicopter like outside of the window, that was pretty cool. I think just the first 48 hours of that game were really exciting. I remember the first time someone tracked me down. Like the first time I was doing something. Oh no, it was John. Like John found me on the server and just jumped into John's an editor.
Yep.
And I just was like walking out of a building or something, and there he was. And he was like, "Hey, get in my car." And like I was like, "Oh, we should put our headsets on so we can talk." And like didn't really need it. It was like we just ran around and like had fun. Definitely the best memories I have were from. So you can either do missions, which are you load into those missions. So if you do a race, you leave the world and you go into the race. So you and the 4,
Or out of
8,
that server.
16 people are only in this one specific thing for that race. And then when you're not doing anything, it's just this 16-player huge, Los Santos, like the whole map. And that's when the best stuff happens. That's when you could, like, honestly, just getting a helicopter and just following other people, was fun, and like seeing them like get out of a car and like look up and be like, why is this guy following? And it's like, I don't need a reason, dude. That's why I'm following you, because you don't know why I'm doing it. It's a good enough reason for me.
One of the things
trolling.
people love doing is getting with a buddy, putting $9,000 bounties on each other, and then riding the train around the map and seeing how long they can live. Like, players chase them, like they'll start shooting at cops, so cops will chase them. And eventually they found out you can destroy the train, which is pretty cool.
Whoa, the train can stop.
Yeah, you blow it up. Yeah.
That's really cool.
You have to shoot the front car like 16 times with a shotgun or something like that. But
And then does it
blows up.
cause a wreck? Does the train like stay connected,
No,
or is it just kind of
it
poof?
just slows to a stop. So
Close
it doesn't
enough, though.
derail, which would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
But yeah, the best moments are the ones you make yourself.
Yeah.
Ricky, I remember when the game came in, when we were reviewing it, were you the one who got on the train?
Yeah.
This was cool. So like it's just this moment where it's just like GTA 5 is here. What can we do with it?
And no
Ricky's
one was
just-
playing it,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
just put Trevor on the train,
Yeah.
and I just left the controller there.
But it's
And
not
he went
easy.
around the whole map, and it took like 20 minutes. But
It's not easy to hop on that train. It's like kind of
no,
hard.
you have to
wasn't
go
it?
to one of the lower cars, and
Yeah.
you just climb onto it.
Oh,
I was doing
okay.
it wrong the whole time.
Well, he worked really hard on it. It was impressive.
We
And,
were
like-
going to make a time lapse, but then he kept falling off because he would hit like a guardrail or something.
You made it pretty far, remember?
Yeah, I mean like halfway, but that's not time lapse worthy, Kyle.
Yeah, I get you. We should talk about the end. We should talk about the endings, because this game gives you multiple endings. So if you've not beaten the game, you should stop watching at this point. Thanks for hanging
If
around.
you care.
Yeah, yeah. And if you care, yeah. Well, there are people who started it and just like will finish it someday, but the game's so huge, and we all have so few hours left in our lives that it's not easy to beat it in even a month. But anyway, spoilers are on the table now.
Spoilers are 9.
Well, GTA 4 had multiple endings, so that's not a spoiler. I mean, I think it would be.
Oh, but like we're about to get into
expect...
it. We're about to get into those endings.
Whoa! All right.
Ricky, what is your ending? What ending did you do?
Me and Katie were playing through together. It's my girlfriend. We chose C because we wanted the trio to remain the trio. Like,
How long
if we're
was
going
your
down,
discussion?
We're bringing everyone with us.
So you two are playing next to each other.
Yeah, we'll like swap off during missions.
How long did you talk about it before you like clicked on your choice?
30 seconds.
What was that discussion?
It's just like, we can't kill Michael or Trevor. We just can't. We're going, like, the three of us are going strong. Like, the story had built it up to such a point where they were such good friends, even though they had issues, they were like the gang. And so we would rather all die, because what's the gang going to do? Kill them all? They didn't all die. So we just went with C because we couldn't face killing one of the either characters.
And so, Brandon, I know you're talking about your review and whatever, so you did everything. But what was the first one you did?
Was Death Wish, because I figured it was like Trevor, Michael, or another word that you're not sure what that means, and I'm like, I bet that's everybody makes it through. But I went back and did the other ones just to try them out.
And Hubert, which one did you pick first?
The same. I wanted the trio to live.
So like that's what I felt in this game full of freedoms. I felt like Death Wish is the one that they want you to pick. Do you know what I mean? Even like just the word Death Wish to me means like, yeah, I'm a badass for picking this one. So I picked Kill Michael. And I was happy to. I was happy that the game allowed me to kill what I thought was its favorite character.
Okay.
And I enjoyed that ending. So if you haven't seen it, their fight, Franklin comes up to Michael and says, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot you, dog." And Michael's like, "No, I'm gonna run away." And for some reason, like,
they end up on top of a platform at a construction site.
Yep.
Because that's where I would run if someone was
Naturally.
chasing me.
Yeah, totally.
Up a ladder at a construction site.
Yeah. And right, what's funny is because you both have guns and those don't matter up until you get to that point. You're holding onto his arm, and it gives you the second option of be like, okay, you can drop him right now if you want to.
Oh yeah, it's like save or let go.
Yep. And I was like, yep, and let him go, and just you see his like hit, like a main character of a game. You see him fall to the ground and like blood in his eyes, and like that's what I did to this character they worked so hard on, and he's just dead. And then Franklin like calls his buddy Lamar and walks off into the distance. Like what a beautiful little ending that was.
Do you know what happens if you don't?
No. So what is Death Wish? What is?
No.
Well,
if you don't let go of him as you're holding him.
You
I
pick,
told you.
apparently
Yeah, I
knows
told
the
you that,
ending.
yeah.
You pick change your mind. He goes, thanks. Fuck you. Punches you in the head. He still falls and dies.
So it's probably even more satisfying to do that.
I think it's just a mind fuck at that point.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your emotions. It did a good job of convincing you this wasn't the person you were supposed to kill, but you were already on that road.
I made my choice. Yeah. So what is Death Wish? What happens with Death Wish?
It's awesome.
Oh my god.
It's just a
fantastic.
huge heist. Like all heists kind of blend together.
No,
right?
you're
a-
killing systematically.
Oh yeah, you go and take out
everyone's
people,
enemies.
That's right.
It's a 40-minute killing
phenomenal.
spree.
Wait, really?
It is the
but
best.
the best moment of each is that like each person basically kills their main antagonist. So like the guy who does the show, who's like the pushy FIB guy.
Laszlo, you mean? Oh no, not that guy. That you mean not the show literally, but the
who has the show that you can watch on TV. Who's
Yeah.
like
The
crime stories.
The
and
CIA
stuff.
guy.
yeah.
You CIA. He's on the merry-go. The Ferris wheel
like sniping.
at the Santa Monica Pier. You take him out like while he's on camera, like recording the show.
What?
And
And then you warp travel to Franklin or Michael or somebody, and then take out somebody else, and then you warp travel somebody else, and then all three of you take out like a SWAT team together. And then you warp travel to the main rich guy. I forget who his name is.
Davis?
Something like that, yeah. And together you raid his house and kidnap him.
And kidnap him.
Oh
And
my
then what
god,
happens?
yeah. And then you all meet on the
don't-
cliff. And then it's like this scene. I think that is
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's
Actually,
it.
that's the end.
That's
yeah.
the final scene.
At the very end.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's the rich guy is in the
Yeah.
trunk.
Yeah.
And this was official art they promoted the
Yeah.
game with.
Yeah.
How incredible is that?
And you close the trunk, you push him in the ocean, and it blows up. And then they
And
play
then-
music.
And they all walk away. They're all like, all right.
Is it the
Cool,
same song?
later.
The one that goes? Actually, we can't.
all
It's
three
some
endings
awesome
have different.
song.
All three endings have different.
It's a
songs.
really
Very
satisfying
cool.
song.
Really, really.
But I
interesting.
I don't get the sense you're like, oh, this vindicating ending. It's like obviously really silly and
It
Yeah.
was.
and
It was
over the
silly,
top.
but so satisfying.
Oh yeah. Well, I really liked what I thought were really neat because I played all three endings because I did that and like I got to go back and see the other ones. Like all the different layers of details in the endings. Like we were talking about you chasing Michael, the fact that Michael shoots at you while you're chasing him, and Trevor doesn't. Like Trevor gets in his car and drives, and you have to like chase him down in a car. And the fact that Michael's like, hey, you know, like when you're actually like going up through the pipes in the industrial complex, he actually like takes shot at Franklin, and just that like you tell Franklin that Franklin tells Trevor that he's going to go kill Michael, and Trevor's like, I don't want any part of it, and you tell Michael that you're going to kill Trevor, and Michael helps you, you know, so that like. Neither one of those kill this guy endings are the same at all. You know?
Yeah, it's so strange. It's like that is the spirit of video games. Do you know? Like just to give each of us that weird ending that we wanted in particular.
Right. And one last thing too, there's also so much extra character building and world building that like not a lot of people might have even seen. Like I remember as Franklin, I would call Trevor to hang out, and we would go hang out and just have like built their friendship. Because if you
waste your time doing that?
Because if you never do, because he was part of the crew, and like I wanted Franklin to get to know him better, and
isn't that crazy? Yeah, that is crazy to me.
Well, they ask when you bump into him too. Like I was Franklin and I bumped into Trevor just completely accidentally, just like. Well, not accidentally, because I switched to Trevor and went to because I was buying stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'll have Trevor buy this helicopter pad. Then I switched to Franklin. I'll have Franklin buy it too. And Trevor was still there. Right. And he's like, hey, you want to go to a strip club? And Franklin's like, no, I got stuff I got to do. But he said that because like they actually like bumped into each other in the environment.
Wow, I
wanted them to become friends.
Yeah.
So the AI really does take over these characters while
they're still
not
there. Yeah, they're still walking around in the environment.
So I feel like this game has just like done like insane things that other games won't do for a super long time. Like that is a crazy thing. Yeah. That's insane.
I want it to be on next gen. That's my biggest complaint about GTA right now is I have to boot up my white Xbox to do it. That's really it. If it was on next gen, I'd be like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
It's tough, yeah. It really. I mean, even just the PC version, you know, just upping that, possibly upping the multiplayer count, you know, so like going from 16 to 24 or 32. That would make a big difference.
I don't know. That's not going to pull Ricky in. That's not what
That'll pull me in. I don't care about Ricky. Okay.
All I want to say is like, Michael, call Franklin, and if he does that with voice commands over the Kinect, I'm cool.
No, what? That's the last thing they should work on.
That's all I want.
Ricky, that makes me so mad.
And
that's our final. That's what we're ending on. That was our final word. Was your weird suggestion? Why would you? Oh my gosh.
But we could. You feel it that we could talk about this for another 2 hours.
Yeah,
we could just keep going and going and going.
It's just a massive game that I feel like we don't give a lot of attention to because it's like fifth in a series or whatever. But it's extremely unique.
It's
that's what I wanted to say too. I feel like you were saying the Game of the Year hype at GTA has kind of been washed over.
Yeah.
I think it's because all the AAA big hype went to The Last of Us. And then all the other hype went to like the indie games like Gone Home, and so all the big, huge blockbuster AAA hype was snatched up by The Last of Us. How's that make you feel, Jones?
Makes me cry.
All right, everybody. It was a great discussion. I'm really happy that you all came. Thanks for watching, everyone at home, and we'll hope to do more depths in the future for any games you care about. Actually, how about let's do this? In the comment section, let us know what other particular games you would like us to talk a half hour for.
GTA 5 again. Depth Part 2.
If you want to do GTA 5 again, we'll do it.
Depth's the sequel.
Cool. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everybody.